Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 38 of Music is None of Our Business. And this week's subject is transport and travel.
Yes.
It was transport, but then Jake said
it was travel last week. You went off piste of it.
We got mixed up, so we've amended it so we can get everything in. Yeah. Fucking hell. Yeah. And I was just saying, I found this incredibly hard, this one. Sometimes they just go like that and you're like, yes, no problem. And sometimes, oh my God, bloody nightmare. But yeah, this was, for me, it was a bloody nightmare. But yes.
That's always, I found it very easy.
Well, you bloody would, wouldn't you? You bloody would. But I've got some good ones. Couple of bands we probably had before, but
okay.
Yeah, that's no.
I think it's your turn to go first, anyway.
Is it? Okay. My first song is "Tank" by the Stranglers, because he can drive his very own tank. Yes, he can drive.
For some reason, I thought Tank immediately Idols, but then I thought you don't like Idols, and that's an album, not a track. So yeah.
Yeah, this was the first track on Black and White.
Yeah.
By the Stranglers, and Black and White, I think, was the first. I think I've said before, the Stranglers were the first single I ever bought was "No More Heroes," obviously by the Stranglers, and I'm pretty sure that Black and White was the first Stranglers album I bought from new.
Oh wow. Wow.
Because I think I've got a feeling because they released the first two LPs, Rattus Norvegicus and No More Heroes, came out in the same year. So I'm pretty sure that by the time I bought No More Heroes, I think the LP was already released or about to be released. And given my perilous financial situation at that time, buying record, no, it doesn't. Buying records, buying LPs was kind of, not something I did very often. I was definitely a singles man at the time. So when Black and White came out, I remember buying it and taking it home, playing it, and a Tank, as I say, first track on side one. Banger, absolute banger, proper. I mean, I think looking back, Black and White was probably the first post-punk LP, really.
You're going to go off on one of your the evolution of music bits, aren't you?
I am, I think. It just had those attributes, didn't it? It just sounded different. I mean, the Stranglers always sounded slightly different, but the way Tank the way Black and White was put together did sound, like the Stranglers, but at the same time something new. It had, it was. I think it was, for all their bludgeoning, the bludgeoning attack of the Stranglers from time to time, there was something a bit more subtle about it as well. And they were a great band. I absolutely loved the Stranglers. Like I say, first single I ever bought, first gig I ever went to, probably the first punk T-shirt I ever owned as well.
This is a lot of firsts for one band. What a responsibility!
Yeah, I know. I always had a real soft spot for them. I loved their first three LPs. I really liked The Raven. And then I think after that, I kind of started to lose interest a bit. Looking back, I do like the Men in Black a lot more than I did at the time. After that, I'm not that fussed, to be perfectly honest. There was some odd tracks I was interested in. But I don't really think anything that massively floated my boat. I mean, the Raven had Duchess on, which we talked about last week, and he's one of the great singles, one of the great punk, post-punk, whatever singles. Absolutely brilliant. And Tank is, I mean, the Tank, weirdly, Tank is probably the most thuggish sounding track on on Black and White. It's a proper, it's a proper stomper to start the album off. And then it kind of goes all over the place. I mean, you got things like Nice and Sleazy on there, and Outside Tokyo, which is there's some proper weird stuff on there. Weird in the context of other punk of the time, and well, that's why, as I say, I think that's why I kind of view it as probably the first post-punk LP.
Art rock with an attitude, really, more than punk. I think there wasn't. I mean, they'd kind of punk attitude, I suppose, but sound-wise alone, there wasn't much resemblance to punk music at the time.
No, I think by this time, even though the keyboards were very prominent, they'd lost that kind of doorsiness that was always there, and it sounded more modern. It sounded more modern. The electronic aspects of the album sounded a lot more as if they were designed for that year. They kind of pulled their style into into 1978. Rather than kind of being 1977 band with a certain 60s-ness to it. And you had things like, I mean, there was some great, I'm just looking at the track list now. I mean, Sweden was a great
country
song. And a great country. Yeah, it is a great country. Yeah. Hey, Rise the Robots, and Toiler on the Sea. That was the one they always used to finish their sets with. And I remember them actually my first gig, they finished with Toiler on the Sea, and it just, slowly, it went on and on and on, and then slowly, one after the other, they'd leave until there was just Jet Black on the drums, and then he'd just stop and he'd go, and that was like the end of the show. I mean, Death and Night and Blood is bonkers. At that time was a proper, what the fuck, and I mean, I can still remember. I was just thinking, Death and Night and Blood. That's the hey little baby, don't you lean down low. Your brain's exposed and it's starting to show. Your rotten thoughts, yuck. It actually does sound like that's not me. I wasn't joking. It actually does sound like that. And also you had the 3 7-inch with Walk On By.
Yeah.
Which is a
good cover.
Our love of covers is a great cover. Great cover version. I really like that. And then on the B-side was a bit iffy. The Mean to Me and Tits. I mean, that was a bit of their kind of the misogynistic side of the Stranglers that everybody used to complain about. And does more. I mean, it's more obvious now. I mean, I think in the 70s, you for better or worse, it was what it was. Yeah, and being 12, 13 at the time, you had no say of it. It was that was the norm, unfortunately. Yeah, but like I say, Tank, great start to an LP. I mean, you look back at some of the one of the LPs with great starting tracks, and that's definitely one of them. And I also always think Give 'Em Enough Rope, The Clash from that time with Safe European Home. I mean, that's a fucking banger of an opening track as well. Maybe that's a subject for great album opening tracks.
It could be,
because I mean that's a hell of a field, because it's all that's very subjective, isn't it? It's well, I think that's shit. Fuck off. I don't care. I picked it. So
yeah, there'd be no arguing that you didn't adhere to the theme. Stick it on the list. That's one to consider.
Yes, we'll do. I am literally sticking it on the list now. I'm writing it down on a bit of paper, but it's not a list per se.
Into your desktop.
Yes. So I think, if push came to shove, I think I'd probably say that Black and White, in my opinion, is the best Stranglers LP as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Possibly controversial, but
I wouldn't agree. But I wasn't as big a fan of the Stranglers. I like the Rave and I like Men in Black. I thought Ratus and the Vecicus was a horrible album, and I have it. And from time to time, every year or so, it'll just fall into my hands, and I think I'm sure I'm missing something because everybody I knew loved this album, and they didn't like it, they loved it, and I just don't get it. So I'll sling it on again, and I still hate it.
Yeah, weird. I mean, I don't think it's their best album, but I don't think it's that bad. I quite enjoy it. I'll be honest. I was never a massive fan of No More Heroes, the LP.
Okay, yeah.
Of those first four, I'd probably put No More Heroes at the bottom.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's got some great tracks. Dagenham Dave and Dead Ringer. Dead Ringer always used to baffle me because I could never work out. There was a phrase they used in there, and it went, "Then you're a dead ringer, then you're," and it sounded like a Suckabilly singer or something. And it's like, what the fucking hell? What does that mean? What does that even mean? You know, the Stranglers is on a few. I think had really weird lyrics, and you think they fucking made that up. That's not real words. You know, and I think in fact I'm looking at the track list to No More Heroes now. And I think up to No More Heroes is pretty good. I think it was just English Towns and Schoolma'am I really didn't like. I really didn't like either of those songs. And I think that was always what put me off No More Heroes. Just two songs. It's weird how that happens, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, a song or two songs can spoil a whole LP for you. I'm trying
to think of an example from my own recollections. I can't think of one off the top of my head. Maybe there's another top five there.
Yes. Albums that are spoiled by one or two songs. That's not bad.
That's getting a bit of a difficult one.
The live album they did was really good as well. The Stranglers live LP.
I don't know that one.
That's a real good one. Yeah, live excerpt.
What year did that come out?
That was 79.
Oh, was it? Okay.
That was I think that was recorded at the Roundhouse. I can't. It didn't say on here. I think it was recorded at the Roundhouse or various London venues.
Stop fucking belching.
Sorry, that's because I'm drinking non-alcoholic beer. I keep getting burps again. I'm gonna have to fucking. Oh dear, yeah. Well, that's because I've as I said to you earlier, I've been drinking lots of iced tea, and I'm not supposed to take caffeine with these meds that I'm trying. And I didn't realise iced tea had caffeine, so I've been going fucking buzzing every now and again, thinking, "What's going on?" And then my friend Hannah said, "You know, iced tea has caffeine in it." I was like, "Oh fuck, I didn't know that." No, which is stupid. But yeah,
mixing.
There you go. Anyway, I will stop waffling. That was my first track, "Tank" by the Stranglers.
Okay. My first track, these no particular order, as always, is a track called "Travelling" by Meredith Monk and Colin Walcott. And here, Walcott is on piano, and Monk is deploying her voice in her usual inimitable way, as an acrobat deploys her body, which is basically her craft. So the piano is quite repetitive and quite simple, but very nice. When we've talked about artists in the past that make up languages, idioglossia, the Liz Frasers, the Jeanzis and so on, there is still structure and there is kind of a pseudo language in there, but Monk doesn't do that. This is purely the sound of her voice, and it's amazing. She's an American who has built a long career over experimental creativity, not only in music, but in dance and film and choreography. And in her singing, there are no words at all. It's just a wonderful collection of ululations and yelps, and shrieks and murmurs, and there's some angelic bits in there.
Pretty much like one of our podcasts.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Dude, we should do a cover of a Meredith Monk track. That would be bizarre.
I've got to. I've never listened to Meredith Monk, but I think I'm going to have to now.
You're going to have to. Yeah. She's absolutely fascinating. So on this track, there are a few tiny little bits of occasional percussion, and there's a shaker in there too. But just those little elements, they coalesce really interestingly around this. I don't want to use the word deranged, but deranged sounding voice, but sounds so fantastic. Her first work was called 16mm Earrings, and it was created in 1966. So Monk has been honing her craft for 60 years. She was on stage as early as 1961 when she was 13 years old. And 16mm Earrings, I don't think you can get it on record, but there is a video which is well worth seeing. And I'd suggest looking on YouTube. It's quite long. It's about 25 minutes long, but her whole dancing, the imagery, the sound, the shapes and colours is just awesome. So this track, anyway, it's from her 1981 album, Dolman Music, which has probably my favourite Meredith Monk track on it, a track called Gotham Lullaby, which is absolutely gorgeous. But elsewhere on the album, she's got music that's made just out of kind of her laughing and more of these noises. The closing track is 24 minutes long, and it's just her evolving vocal acrobatics, blurring and melding in with other vocalists, both male and female, and they generate some really, really interesting phrases. So I do like it very much. It's beautiful at times, tranquil at times, contemplative, and other times it's quite challenging, but in a good way. Invariably, it is captivating and a total step outside the conventions of music in any sense, really. It's not at all music by numbers. So, travelling, Meredith Monk, Dolman Music, great.
Awesome. And very, very brief and concise.
Oh, I haven't got lots and lots to say. Yes, I tried to balance out your immense waffling with a bit of brevity.
I don't know what you'd possibly be talking about. Fucking hell. Okay, excellent. Right, well, so my next one is it's a Lush song, and it's called 500 Shake Baby Shake.
Hang on a minute, 500 Shake Baby Shake has got what to do with
the
travel?
500 refers
Daytona.
to a Fiat 500.
Okay.
So there, which that counts definitely.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Are you just guessing that, or is it?
No, it is. I shall explain.
Okay, go.
So 500 Shake Baby Shake was written by Emma Anderson of Lush, and it was about her Fiat 500, and she just passed her driving test when they were recording Love Life, which is the album it was on, and wrote about her car, the Fiat 500. And I imagine it wasn't much of a car because it's the lyrics kind of give the impression it was a rickety old banger. Hence, Shake Baby Shake.
Right.
Because the fucking thing just shook.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great song. I mean, the album is not my favourite Lush LP. But it was there. One of the things there's lots of things I love about Lush, and one of them is the way that they progressed throughout their career. They started off as this kind of ethereal kind of shoegazy band, and by the time they got to Love Life, they were kind of lumped in with the Britpop crowd.
Oh, right.
But they were still kind of in effect singing the same making the same type of music, but it just kind of tinkered with it slightly and just made it so you were listening, you knew you were listening to the same band, but somehow it sounded completely different and yet exactly the same, if you know what I mean. It was just brilliant. I absolutely adored Lush, and one of the things I really liked about them as well was that like originally, they, as I say, they came out, they were all ethereal, and it was like, and you think, that just sounds so gorgeous and so kind of otherworldly. They must be singing about otherworldly things, like, fairies and elves and things, and it's like, basically, they were just writing songs about how shit blokes are. but making these things, it's like all blokes are dickheads. Why do we bother going out with them? Because they're always doing stupid fucking things, and yet making them sound like it was like, you know, the most gorgeous thing in the world. Which kind of brings me to this song, where I can make a brilliant sounding, you know, lovely sounding song that you think is about something completely different, but it's actually about a rickety old car. And it's just great. They were such a great band, and a great live band as well. You know, and also one of those bands where they gave off a certain, well, again, with the ethereal stuff, you know, they gave off a certain image, but, you know, they're out on the Raz all the time. You know, you thought they were like these kind of, they'd be sitting in their rooms practicing, you know, practicing the guitar and writing wispy lyrics and that, and, you know, and buying new pedals for their guitars and everything. And yet they're out on the Raz every fucking night, having a whale of a time, making all these ethereal songs about boys being shit and being out on the lash and everything. But giving the impression that they're singing about something completely different. And I just love it. I just love the way they, you know, the way they did that, the way they kind of, and also that not giving up. They didn't give a fuck either. You know, they just, you know, people would slag them off all the time. It was like they were always taking the piss out of them for being out at the parties, and, you know, there was lots and lots of horrible sexist shit because there were two, you know, the two girls at the front, which was dreadful. But all the time they just gave this fuck it, don't give a shit attitude. It was brilliant. I loved that about them.
Right.
Absolutely loved it, you know. Yeah, great band. And live, fucking excellent live band as well. I saw them, I remember seeing them really early on at the Junction. And in fact there's a video of it on YouTube. And the lad who's trying, or girl, I think it was, I'm pretty sure it was a boy, who's trying to film it, has got his camcorder, and he's in the middle of the fucking mosh pit. His fucking thing zooming out, and then it's zooming in, and then it's all over the place. Then there's a big shake and everything. But the sound is all there,
right? And
you get such a good impression of how that gig was. You know, it was pretty raucous gig, and you know, and as much I keep going on about it, for an ethereal shoegazy band, raucous as fuck their gigs were. You know, there's bloody everyone driving down the front, you know, getting into it and everything. So that's another quick one. I just really love that song. I really love Lush. And Emma follows me on Instagram as well, which is great, and makes comments, and it's really nice, and offered to send me a copy of her next album when it comes out as well, which is really sweet of her as well.
Yeah.
Yes. And just going off track a bit, I did a Instagram yesterday of that Petri Motion.
Oh really?
Okay. Yeah. And just because I love that Petri Motion, I thought they were a great band. And Raymond, the guitarist, actually messaged me this morning and thanked me. Told me about the new band that they're all, or the band that they've got, another band that them and him and the O'Neills and the other. It was him and the other three Irish guys. He said, so obviously not Steve Mack. Yeah, and he's going to send me a record, so that's really cool.
Marvelous.
Yeah, yes, really nice bloke. So yeah, that was exciting as well. I also ran a poll on Instagram. I ran a poll. I'm going to see Sun on Friday.
Right.
Should I wear metal appropriate black t-shirt with metal band or whatever on the front, or should I wear my red Olivia Rodrigo t-shirt? And I'm sure you can guess which one has come out on top.
Olivia.
So I will be at Lush on Friday.
No,
you won't.
You won't be at Lush.
I'll be at Sun on Friday. Which will be gone by the time this kind of hits the airwaves, in my red Olivia Rodrigo t-shirt. So yes, we'll see how that goes. Yes,
you'll be the belle of the ball, no doubt.
I'm sure I will. I'm sure I'll be. I shall have. I'll be the most popular person there. That's what I was trying to say.
No doubt, yes. When I was working, I used to spend a lot of time on the motorways, and it would seem that people in Fiat 500s always had to drive incredibly fast to prove something, I think. So you could be doing 70 or 80 on the motorway, and Fiat 500s would always come past you, whatever speed you were going. I found. I think it was a kind of look. It may look a silly car, but I'm a brave soul. I don't know.
There's a couple of newer Fiat 500s, a proper shifty.
Yeah,
got kind of quite big engines.
Yeah.
And yes, that's right. And they go like the fucking clappers.
A bath.
So,
what have you got? I've got a bath. Okay.
A bath.
What do you drive? A bath.
A bath. Yeah, with the plug-in.
No, it's not electric.
Oh my God, you did a joke and it was funny. Fucking hell. 38 episodes.
That's why I did a brief section. I was saving my energies for the opportunity to leap in with a witticism.
Oh, bloody hell. Oh, just did one big laugh, and I'm sweating. It's fucking hot here today, isn't it?
Yeah,
at least it's not quite as hot as it was.
It certainly isn't.
Yeah.
No, but it will be again.
Yes.
Okay, to my number 2 then, which I think will be another one in the brief category. There isn't a great deal of information about these guys out there as much as I searched around, but it's a great track and it needs to be heard. And it's a track called Jetpack Time, which is certainly a form of transport, an unconventional one perhaps.
Yeah.
And it's by a band.
You wait till you get some of my next ones.
Stretching it a bit. Well, this band it's a duo called 310, 310, just the figures, and they were Joseph Dierker and Tim Donovan of the US of A. Dierker died in 2023 at the age of 56, just 7 weeks after being diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. So he had a very quick decline.
Yeah, shit.
And sadly, the same year, 2023, before his death, he found out that his lifelong partner had got breast cancer and also that his mother died. So that really was a fucking awful year all round for them. But anyway, that aside, this is a track, Jetpack Time, from their 1999 album, The Dirty Rope. I'm not sure if there's a euphemism for anything, but it's called The Dirty Rope. It sounds like it might be.
I'll have to get my Viz Profanosaurus out and check through there.
The Dirty Rope, yeah.
So, what could it do? You want to speculate?
I don't.
I don't know. I suppose it would be something related to going to the toilet and doing number 2s or something.
It was some fetishist kind of practice of some description. I don't know. It might be something completely innocuous, but as I say, there's no telling from the information that's available. You can just put it into Google and see whether you get arrested.
Yeah. I don't know if I dare.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I better not, because I'm using my work computer to record this. So. Yeah, fucking hell.
You'd have head office down on you like a ton of pricks.
Yeah. Yes.
Wankers indeed.
Bloody HR tossers.
Can't live with them, can't kill them.
Absolutely.
So this track anyway. It begins with percussion and drums, and it's just this incessant rhythm, which is really nice. Sounds very much like Andrea Belfi at times on Natura Morta, which is a superb piece of music in itself. But as the first minute progresses, the volume grows, the sound palette expands. Electronics start to bubble out and through, and there are these indistinct vocal samples as well. Then a heavy kick drum comes in, and the whole thing starts to morph into a more industrial techno kind of thing. It's grainy, it's dirty, but it's very propulsive. It's very, very good. Instead of a melody, there's a drone, but the drone sounds oddly musical in the context of the rest of the music, and the whole thing just carries this sense of threat, this urgency and threat. It's really, really cool piece of music. Across the whole album, they drop in lots of elements of different genres because they've got, one of the things you can glean from online is they've got quite a wide range of musical interests, a bit like us really. So the album has got total dronescapes, such as the track Under So Under the Blue Words. They got mangled hip hop on there, like on tracks like Frosty Bardem. And then there were all manner of sample laden, often rhythmically driven electronica. So it's really interesting. What's quite interesting also is that every track's got a little video. And I think for most of their records, they have a little video clip for every track. And it doesn't matter how long the song is. The song might be 4 or 5 minutes long. The tracks are always about 90 seconds or 2 minutes long, 2.5 minutes at most. So you get a little clip to give you a kind of sense of what they're thinking when they've made this music. But once you've watched the video, you got to listen to the music because you've missed a lot of it.
Right.
The little video clip for this, being Jetpack Time, it starts off weirdly with a sample of John Peel, and that sample doesn't appear on the record, so I'm not quite sure how that works. But the clip, as you might expect, is lots of two guys on delta wing jetpacks soaring around over the desert doing aerial aerobatics and stuff. I mean, it's almost certainly not them, and they've lifted it from something. I think looking at their videos, they are quite indifferent to copyright protections or anything. I think they just lift whatever they want and use, which is fine.
Yeah.
So it's quite good. The album's pretty good. Their 10th album, Lighten the Load, was released just 2 days before Dierke passed away. And it's, again, there's a combination of dark trip hop, ambient, I think it's called, hip hop, electronica. And it's quite a nice, if there can be a nice kind of testament to your creative past, it's really a nice record. Since then, Donovan, the remaining of the duo, has continued to release a few things. There's a 2026 album called Cras, C-R-A-S, which is built around tapes and field recordings that he and Dierke did together before 2023, obviously. And that's a really nice, grainy, noisy, organic soundscapes. It's quite nice. The weird thing is, for this kind of music, Ralph Roll from Chic turns up playing drums on one track, which is quite odd. And
that's pretty fucking
of
random.
all the people you think would turn up, remember Chic, not necessarily. Yeah. And Jeff Bird of Cowboy Junkies turns up playing, of all things, a pump organ. So it's quite interesting stuff. The little videos are quite interesting. As I say, there's very little online, so it's another brief one. But it's worth having a listen to because it's got quite a lot of elements in there that we both like to some degree.
Is it on streaming platforms?
No idea.
Oh, for fuck's sake. So you did all your research. Jeepers. So the 310s, yeah?
No, it's not the 310s. It's just
310. Oh, yeah, they are on there. Yeah, they're
good.
on. They are. Yeah, they are. Yes. Oh, well, there you go. That's yeah, that's that hurdle crossed. Yes. Okay. Cool. Excellent. Right. Okay. So my number 3 then. Now this is a band I know we've had before. So I'll try not to kind of go over the same ground, but I think it's impossible to be honest because it's just one of those bands. It's not. No. It's a song called Helicopter by Block Party.
Have we had Block Party before?
I think we have had Block Party before. And it's really difficult to talk about Block Party. I find it difficult to talk about Block Party because, Helicopter, fabulous song from their first LP. And I think, their debut LP, I still to this day think is one of the greatest debut LPs ever. I think it's an absolute classic. It's one of those LPs where it's just perfect, absolutely perfect. And even there's a remix version of it, the complete LP, perfect as well. Every single remix is an absolute banger. There's also
by various people, or remixed by
everybody.
Somebody?
I think Mogwai do a remix on there. I can't remember who else. I didn't get the details up while I was researching. I could probably find out. But it's just such a brilliant LP. And the trouble with it is that they could never ever do anything that matched it. Yeah. And for that reason, just pretty much fell more or less straight off my radar after this LP. And I know they're still going, and I'm sure they've made songs that are as good as some of the songs on that first LP, Silent Alarm, but I just can't understand. I just can't kind of quite bring myself to listen to anything else anymore.
Oh, right. Okay.
I mean, and most of the original band have gone as well, but it was released in like 2005. The LP Helicopter was originally a single. And this was the thing. The whole thing with Block Party was everything was done so fucking perfectly. So kind of a bit of a whisper starts. There's this fucking brilliant band. They release their first single. It's very limited, sells out completely. Can't get hold of it. Everyone's like, fucking hell, this Blank or Block Party, they're brilliant. A couple of singles come out, fantastic. Everything's done. They've got this uniform kind of design for all of the singles. Everything's on coloured vinyl, 7-inch singles on coloured vinyl. And then the album comes out. The album's perfect, looks brilliant, sounds amazing. The remix album comes out in an inverse cover. So everything on Silent Alarm is like stark white. Everything on the remix album is the same picture, but everything's back to front. So all the white is black.
Yeah.
And it's brilliantly done. The music was fantastic. This kind of herky-jerky, new wave, really urgent, kind of post-punk type songs. Couple of slower ones that are just, anthemic as fuck. The whole album is just a perfect package. They have their own little fan club called Marshalls, and you don't have to pay to join it, but you get all loads of demo tracks you can download. You get like tracks that haven't been released, and you get to download those. They do a Marshall's Christmas gig, so the only people who can get tickets for £5 are people who are in the Marshalls fan club.
What is the relevance of Marshalls?
Marshalls was one of their songs, one of their earlier songs, I think, and they called it. They just called it Marshalls, and it was just like the most perfect. As a fan, it was the most perfect thing ever. I can't remember anyone doing things for fans better since like REM's fan club.
You had to mention them, didn't you?
I had to. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, but they they had one of the greatest fan clubs ever. For years, you paid $10, and it never went up. And you always got a Christmas package with like a CD or a 7-inch single or at times a video, $10, and that included all your postage from America if you were abroad as well. So but Block Party did it fantastically as well. So everything about it was perfect, and you just and as a fan, it's just what you want. The band seemed quite approachable and quite normal. You could get. There were, you get obsessed. You could get the if you bought the Japanese version of Silent Alarm, it came with a DVD of a gig they did for French television. If you got the American version, I think it had different tracks. If you got, so there was loads of stuff you could collect. From a collecting point of view, it was brilliant. It was all managed so fantastically. And then the second album came out and singles, and you went, ugh.
Right.
Oh, is that it?
Did the remix album come out before the second album then?
Yes, I think that came out. I'm not actually sure when it came out. It must be. It was just after. It was after the original album came out.
Okay.
And these the remixes, like I say, were uniformly brilliant, and they've been teasing you with remixes as B-sides as well, so you knew there was some cracking tracks out there. I mean, and even their B-sides, their singles were really good as well.
Okay.
And then like I say, you just went when the second album came out. Well, I did anyway, and it just wasn't the same, and you immediately, or I immediately just lost interest.
Right.
Because when something is that perfect, and then it's not, you just I can't be bothered now. you know.
Oh,
but yeah, I mean, I'd recommend. Have you ever listened to the LP?
no, I wouldn't know Block Party if I heard them, to be
Yeah,
honest.
great stuff. In fact, I was just looking at I've just found the remix LP. So you had like Ladytron, you had M83, Fortet, Death from Above, 1979, Mogwai, all people like that doing. They are proper decent remix people doing their remixes for them. And then, I mean, even now they've just re-released it for the 20th anniversary. And you look at it and you think, that looks brilliant. Oh, that's fantastic. I really want to get. And, but everything else is still like, oh,
So the songs, I mean, obviously you described a whole raft of things that run alongside the marketing stuff and the fan stuff. But the music, did that just go off the boil?
The music's superb. No, yeah, sorry, yeah. It's like we've talked about albums like this before.
Yeah.
You do the most brilliant LP. How do you top it? How do you top that LP? It's just so difficult.
So is it that far off?
No, but it's not. That's the thing. The music that came after is perfectly serviceable. There's some great songs, and they're a great band, but it just didn't match the brilliance of that first LP for me.
Okay.
And it's probably, I mean, a lot of it is me. Obviously, it's but yeah, I was just always like, it's like I just can't even. It's like the first time you ever taste salted caramel. And you're, oh my God, that's fucking brilliant. And then after that, every time after that, it's like, yeah, it's really, really lovely. But it's never as good as the first time.
It's never as good as the first time, but do you stop buying salted caramel because it's never going to be as good as that first time?
No, that probably wasn't the best analogy I could have come up with. But I don't know. It's a kind of a good discussion to have about music. I think is, how you do, you perceive something as being so brilliant. How can they ever top it? And I'm sure I can. There's probably other bands. I think, for instance, I mean, I love Bleed American by Jimmy Eat World. So their first two LPs are brilliant. I really, really love them, and I really loved Bleed American. But in my opinion, Bleed American was so brilliant, nothing after it could ever match it. And I still think that, and they've done some really good LPs since then. But it's just when you get to a pinnacle, and then you think, oh, how are you going to top that? I can't really think of a band who've done an album that was so fucking brilliant and they managed to top it again.
No, but there have been bands, it may not have been their debut album, but there have been bands we've talked about who have done an album which is staggeringly good. Machine Gun Etiquette, for example.
But that's what I was trying to get to with Jimmy Eat World. That's not their debut LP. That was their third LP. But everything since then, I don't think is.
It hasn't been as good, anywhere near as good. But I can still listen to the Black Album quite happily and enjoy it.
Totally. I'm not saying it happens to every band. I just think I mean, a Machine Gun Etiquette is a fabulous album. But I think the thing with the Damned is they have touched those heights again.
Really?
maybe not consistently through an album. There are songs on the Black Album that are as good as songs on Machine Gun Etiquette.
Yeah.
But as a whole, it doesn't quite match.
So you don't think that in the Block Party, I don't know how many records they've done since their debut, there hasn't been anything like the Black Album that just touches at times the brilliance of the first album?
I think it's that first Block Party album for me is a 10 out of 10. So everything else, it could be a 9 out of 10. It's just not going to hit those heights, is it?
No.
And there's not many bands who will do a 10 out of 10 album and then hit that height again. They might get 9.5, they might get 9. Do you know what I mean? Which is perfectly good score. Do you know what I'm getting at?
I kind of see what you mean. I think the angle I'd look at it from is if you are disappointed by the subsequent albums, and at the same time there are floods and floods of other things that you want to listen to, and your resources are finite. I can understand you deprioritizing getting any more of that stuff for a time being, but the way you talk is you just wrote Block Party off because they didn't hit that high again.
I think that's I probably didn't mean it that. That sounds a bit harsher than I actually meant it.
Okay.
What I meant was, they may have hit 9 out of 10, but when you've done a 10 out of 10, I think 9 out of 10, I don't know. I find it hard to keep interest.
Right.
And having said that, I don't think they have hit a 9 out of 10. They've probably had some 7 and 8s since then, but nothing I'd kind of go, yeah, whatever. I mean, nothing I'd go, yeah, whatever.
Okay.
So
I think most of the bands that I like, they've had fantastic albums, and they've had albums that are not quite so fantastic, but they're still really good. And then they've had another fantastic album later, and maybe a dodgy album. And I can't think, there aren't many bands. I think the most consistently brilliant band, probably, if I was to be pinned down, the band you can rely on every album. No.
Oh, okay.
Every album,
just checking.
Every album over a long career is just brilliant. Every one is Cocteau Twins.
Yeah,
you're always struggling with that one.
Well, yeah, you're probably right. I think I don't give those last 2 LPs as much kudos as they deserve. I don't think, because I've listened, because I never really enjoyed them as much as the previous ones, but in retrospect, they are as good, and I could listen to them as much now. At the time, I was disappointed with 4 Calendar Cafe, especially. I was very disappointed with that.
Yeah,
but I've grown to like that, and I think Leaving Las Vegas. No, what is it? Heaven or Las Vegas?
A superb album.
Yeah, I know, but
that's one of their best albums.
Yeah, I was a bit. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, at the time, I think it was more me at the time.
Yeah,
just being a pedantic twat, and just being, like you do. I mean, that's half the fun of being a music fan, isn't it? Is getting things wrong,
it
and
is.
then rediscovering stuff years later, and going, fucking hell, that was brilliant. I still do that to this day. I still every now and again discover albums I haven't listened to in decades for one reason or another, because I was just because I was being bloody pissy about something, and now I'll go back and go, oh, that was fucking brilliant, actually.
Yeah,
how did I miss that? I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I know I've done it recently. I can't think what the bloody hell it was. But yeah, I think as we've said before, your tastes change over the years, don't they?
Yeah.
And something, I would have probably, I mean, at a guess, I would have said I didn't enjoy those last 2 Cocteau Twins LPs because I was off listening to different things at the time, and I had my favourite Cocteau Twins LP already set in my head,
ingrained in there. Yes.
Yeah, which was probably Treasure. Or
that was one of their least favourites. They found that quite embarrassing. Treasure. It was strange.
I always enjoyed Treasure.
Yeah,
I mean, my favourite for a long while was the second. What was the second?
Head Over Heels.
Second LP, Head Over Heels.
Yeah,
absolutely loved Head Over Heels.
Yeah.
And I think probably when those last 2 came out, I was listening to other stuff, and I bought them because I just did.
Yeah.
And probably listened to them and thought, no, it's all right.
It's one of those things. If you feel like listening to Cocteau Twins, you perhaps automatically revert back to Garland's or
absolutely.
Or whatever.
So I had all the Cocteau Twins LPs at that time. So like you say, if I wanted to go and listen to one, I probably wouldn't have picked the last 2. Yeah. So the memory of it fades, and then you just get this thing. Why don't I play that? Because I didn't really like it. And it's probably not exactly the 100% truth. You probably didn't like it, but it's not that you hated it.
Yeah.
It was just came at a time when you didn't want to hear it. And you just I was the same with Killing Jokes on the later Killing Joke LPs. I mean, again, Killing Joke are one of those bands.
Hosannas from the Gates of Hell and that kind of era, MCMX, VN, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think great albums, but again, you know, when you want to listen to Killing Joke, sometimes you'll reach for What's This For, and think, well, hang on, wait a minute, I'll listen to Hosannas or Killing Joke, the second eponymous. That would have been one for the eponymous albums, because they had two eponymous albums, and the second eponymous album is better than the first one. I think that second, the rebirth of Killing Joke, is far better than the first one.
Fuck off.
Yeah, it is.
Really?
Asteroid.
No.
And yes.
Yeah, no. See, I think again with Killing Joke, that's another conversation, isn't it? Because you know those first two LPs for me are above everything. You know, and above most albums that I own. I mean, they're probably in my top 20 LPs ever.
Yeah.
If not top 10.
But there's some tough ones as well, haven't they?
Yeah, I thought probably after Youth left, I mean, Revelation was okay, and after that, I never thought anything really went anywhere near those first two LPs.
No, I think they had some really, really storming later ones.
And as much as I enjoyed the second Killing Joke LP with Dave Grohl on drums, I don't think it's anywhere near as good as the first two.
Not What's This For? What's This For is the classic Killing Joke.
Yeah.
But I think, and the first album is good. What's This For is better. And I think they had some really duff ones. What's the one with, what's the one with Love Like Blood on it?
Oh, yeah, the one with it's got a sword on it.
Yes, that's a terrible album. Love Like Blood's a great track, but everything else on it is terrible. And they had some dips.
Nighttime, is
That's it? Nighttime, yeah. Awful. But then they had some dips, I think. But you know, they came back really strong, I think, and they've had a series of really good albums.
Yeah, I see. I always think of Killing Joke as, you know, early Killing Joke and late Killing Joke as two totally different bands.
Well, indeed, yeah.
You know, and I mean, I like the later stuff, but not as much as those first two, and possibly the third one at a push, and even the Peel sessions or the radio sessions LPs and those live CDs they put out. You know, I just think they are fucking brilliant.
No, they are.
I just don't. I think those first two LPs are just peerless. You know, and I agree. I think What's This For is the better LP.
Yeah.
But I think the first Killing Joke album is
it's great.
Is next. Yes. So we've waffled.
We have waffled. Yes. What are we up to? What are we up to?
Fuck knows. I just done Block Party. Don't know. It's old people talking. You know, I just go to the shops to get some butter. Where are you going? I don't know. Where was I going? Why did I end up in the pub? You know, it's Tuesday now. What happened to Monday? Fucking hell, you know, that's us, isn't it?
Yes. Okay. I think it's my number 3 then.
I think it is your number 3.
And this is Transport. This is a ship. And it is about the most miserable piece of music ever. It's called The Sinking Ship Song, and it's by Matt Elliott. And Matt Elliott seems to be a genius of miserableism, because this song is the music is very glum but beautiful. It's wonderful. And it's embedded in a background of a creaking old sailing ship, which is with the wind teasing through the rigging, which is really nice.
Marie Celeste one.
Exactly like Sault Marie Celeste. It's a really nice feeling. I'm quite fascinated by old abandoned sailing ships. The whole atmosphere that conjures. So both these records are good in that respect. But this one,
is it because you always wanted to be a pirate?
I am a pilot.
Arr, arr.
Isn't there? It's just a kind of.
Is your favourite singer Kelly? Is it?
No, I don't know how you got the pirates. Abandoned sailing ships, you dummy. So this song, it's got that context, but it's this really beautiful piece of very sad music, very eerie, melancholy. The melody...
we love melancholy.
It really is. And this whole album is really melancholy.
What else has Matt Elliott... His name rings a bell, and I can't...
Firstly, he's done quite a lot of albums which attest to his miserableism. So this piece of music is in itself very miserable, but it's from an album called The Mess We Made, which is very miserable. His other albums include Failing Songs, Songs of Resignation, The End of Days, Farewell to All We Know. Who is he, though? He's also, apart from a fantastic solo artist, he's also Third Eye Foundation. He was also part of Movie Tone and Flying Saucer Attack. He's part of the Bristol avant-garde electronica scene. Very, very talented man. But he has got a bad attack of miserableism.
You know, I'm looking at The Mess We Made.
Yeah.
I know that fucking album cover for some reason. I don't know why. I'm gonna have to have a listen to it. I don't know. I think it definitely rings a bell. I've definitely seen it or maybe owned it. I'll have a listen to it when we have a break.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if you're not acquainted with him because he's done so much work and in areas where we do have kind of interests that we've talked about before. I went to see him many years ago, and it was just him, and it was the first time that I'd encountered somebody doing that live looping that now quite a lot of people do, the Angine de Poitrine or whatever.
That Ed Sheeran, he does that.
Yeah.
That Ed Sheeran, he does looping. I like him. He's lovely, he is. Oh, I do love a ginger.
But it's quite fascinating because I've not seen it before, and the way he could just build whole arrangements live, just him playing these different bits into a looping station. Very, very good, but very, very miserable.
I saw oh fucking hell, now I can't remember the bloody name. The harpist, whose
Mary Latimer.
Yes, Mary Latimer. I saw her a couple of years ago. And she does something like that with the harp.
Yeah.
She's got a little loop box, plucks a couple of strings and starts a little loop.
Yeah.
And then goes on and plays a song. Yeah, fucking brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
She is good. I like her, as well.
Yeah, I saw her at Scala.
Oh, well.
That was great. That was, she was really good.
There used to be a nightclub in Peterborough called La Scala, I think. That was a very different place to Scala.
Yeah, rings a bell. Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah. Anyway, so Elliot, Miserabilist, a lot of his music is kind of like otherworldly, electronic, eerie folk music.
What is Miserabilist? Is Miserabilist a description or is it an actual it's not a genre word you'd use for that type of
Well, I do
music?
because
I always think of us as Miserabilists. I've got to be honest. If I was going to describe us, I'd say, oh yes, we're a couple of Miserabilists. And why? Well, because we're fucking miserable. Why do you think?
No, I think it's a different thing. I think we're kind of curmudgeonly. We're curmudgeonly, grumpy people. Miserabilist is just, if we were miserabilist, we'd go, I do this track and you do that track. And, that kind of thing. It just very genuinely feels miserable. And since the songs are about miserable things and they're called miserable things and they sound very miserable.
Yeah, there's definitely a pattern of it.
I just thought there was another album we had out called Only Myocardial Infarction Can Break Your Heart.
Oh dear, yeah.
Oh yeah. So there he is doing all this stuff. He lives in France today, but he was Third Eye Foundation as well, and I really liked Third Eye Foundation. A different thing entirely, kind of glitchy electronica stuff, but even that had a kind of very downbeat, miserable kind of feel. I'm not sure that's because I used to listen to that a lot when I was coming down from horrific drugs moments. It's just tainted with that, but it did feel kind of like that. But then you got Movie Town, Flying Saucer Attack, great stuff. So I'd definitely say give it a listen. I'd definitely say don't be expected to be buoyed up by it, but it's very clever, very nice, very smoky, bar roomy kind of electronic folk music. It's very interesting.
Okay, cool. Well, I am going to, when we have a break, I will listen to that and I'll let you know what I think.
Yep, cool.
Right, okay. Well, my number 4 is again a band we've done before because, as I said, I had fucking real problems thinking of bloody tracks for this. And this is, although it's you can look at this from a slightly different angle than previously. This is called "You Drive Me Ape, You Big Gorilla" by the Dickies, who we've spoken about before because of their cover versions. Because back in the 70s, they did a series of punk cover versions, which were fucking brilliant
They
fun,
really
weren't
were.
they? They did Paranoid, they did Evil Destruction, they did Banana Split Song, they did Nights in White Satin. But because of that, I think you overlook how good some of their original songs were. This being a perfect example. You know, I mean, they were a comedy punk band. Let's face it, you know, they were very good musicians. They were a punk band, but they had a really good sense of humour. Hence the covers and song titles like "You Drive Me Ape, You Big Gorilla," which has one of the greatest intros ever.
I don't know this track
because it's one where it starts, the volume starts off really low, and there's this kind of guitar, this little guitar riff that goes, and it slowly gets louder and louder and louder until it kind of, you know, reaches peak volume, and then it crashes into the song, which basically goes, "You drop me up, you big gorilla, you drop me up, you big gorilla," and then there's some kind of unintelligible, fast-paced lyrics, and then the chorus is, "You drop me up, you big gorilla." You know, you get the and you know, and the whole album they did. The first album was called The Incredible Shrinking Dickies, available on about 3 shades of yellow vinyl, orange vinyl, and also blue vinyl as well. They were very silly. "Walk Like an Egg" was one of their songs. "Walk like an egg, hey, chicky egg, chicky egg, chicky egg, walk like an egg." It was brilliant.
Yeah.
It was absolutely shake and bake, na na na, shake and bake, na na na. That was a song called "Shake and Bake." You know, you get the "I'm on a water slide, whoa, I'm on a water slide, whoa." That was a song called "Water Slide."
Yeah.
You know, you get the gist. You get the gist. Very simple, very short songs. I mean, you're looking at lengths of 1 minute 40, 1 minute 10. You know, there's I mean, probably half the album is less than 2 minute songs.
Yeah.
But they were fucking great, and they really could play their instruments as well. They managed to incorporate keyboards as well, where that was, you know, kind of a bit of a novelty at the time. And a great live band. Saw them live, Dickies live, and they were great fun. Had puppets and bloody, you know, lots and lots of silliness on stage, and they were fabulous fun. And I think it was, you know, it was punk. I did at times take itself very seriously, it was great to have, you know, have the Dickies around.
It's a bit like an American Snuff.
Yeah, they probably were actually. Although I do prefer Snuff, I've got to admit. I thought I would say Snuff were a better band overall. Maybe not as good musicians.
Dickies were good musicians, definitely.
Yeah, Dickies were very good musicians.
I say were. I assume they've stopped.
No, I think they're still going in one shape or another. I think Leonard Grace Phillips, the singer, he's still in the band, and I'm pretty sure Stan Lee, the guitarist, I don't think they were their real names. I mean, some of the other members definitely weren't their real names. There was I think was the drummer Chuck Wagon. I honestly don't think know. That was his. They've had a Carlos Caballero in there. I think Carlos Caballero was one of them. I know one of them died. I think it may well have been their keyboard player, who may well have been Carlos Caballero. I know he died several years ago. No, he was the drummer, Carlos Caballero. Sorry, I'm just going through it now. Died 2009. He did. But yeah, I mean, the Dickies are great fun. I mean, after Incredible Shrinking Dickies, they did Dawn of the Dickies. Obviously, there's a film title thing going on there. Incredible Shrinking Dickies. I mean, that was the Incredible Shrinking Man, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
And then Dawn of the Dickies was Dawn the Dead, and the album cover for that kind of reflected that, because they were being attacked by zombies in a corridor. Dawn of the Dickies was a great album as well. When you start an album with a song called "Where Did His Eye Go." I mean, you're on a winner, really, aren't you? And I'm stuck in a pagoda with Trisha Toyota, which probably could have shoehorned that in as a transport song as well. But yeah, great band, great fun. I've still got the whole. I think we spoke about this before. I've still got the whole collection of singles, all on various coloured vinyls, and I think I've got quite a few albums on coloured vinyl as well. But they're still. I think their last LP was 2025.
Wow, how about that?
Yeah. Album came out last year. What Once Was.
Have you heard it?
Actually, that looks like that may well have been a compilation kind of thing of it.
Right.
Yeah, or a live album.
Okay.
No, I didn't. I haven't listened to. I haven't listened to it. There's a really good live album on what was on Raw. Do you remember Raw Tapes, who released the first Bad Brains LP years and years ago? Yeah, it was called We Aren't the World. And that had a load of live tracks on. Well worth checking out. That was a really good live LP. And there you go. So yeah, You Drive Me Ape, You Big Gorilla
by the Dickies.
Original single on white vinyl. I should add.
You should add that.
Got it over there.
My number 4 then. And this is another one, travelling rather than a mode of transport in itself. This is a track called Dream of Travelling, in fact, and it's by a Chinese band called Cementin. I think that's how you pronounce it, as always, caveat being I can't say for certain. So this is it's pathetic. Indeed.
Pathetic.
I apologise to all of the fans out there of this band, whoever and wherever they may be. This track is just 100% gorgeous. It's absolutely fantastic. It begins life as a kind of really, really beautiful ambience piece. It's about 10 minutes long, this track, but it evolves and just grows and builds. It's just sublime, achingly beautiful. There's these tones that weaving around, crystalline guitar, ribbons of gentle electronics that roll through. There's some hand percussion that slips in and starts to build around arpeggiated synthesizers which wash in and wash out. After about 6 or 7 minutes of just absolute beauty, the percussive element begins to grow more complex and the bass comes in. And a mesmerising repeated motif is played on traditional instruments, including wind instruments. I think it's a bouzouki that's playing a repeated refrain over and over again. It just builds and builds until you don't really notice it until you kind of stop and think, this isn't the track that started at all. This just beautiful piece of ambience has turned into something else, but it's still fabulous. And then in the last minute, it dissolves away into just the sound of running water, a stream or a bubbling brook or whatever, like a lush forest, a bubbling brook.
A bubbling brook.
But it's great, absolutely great. So as I say, it's by a Chinese experimental psychedelic band, and it's on an album, a compilation album, on WV Sorcerer Records called Purple Haze from East, and it's a compilation of Chinese bands who are psychedelic, electronics, experimental, and it's a great album. Cementin were formed in Shanghai in 2015, and I think they've got 2 tracks on this compilation, but their only other release was a 2023 double album called The Worst of Cementin. Which is so called because it is a collection of unfinished music, unrefined jams, unpolished material from between 2016 and 2019.
Music-wise, it's not like old preserves that they started making half jarred
jams.
Left to go mouldy. just checking. The next album's called like Marmalades We Never Got to Grips With.
No. Although the music is quite a bit different to this particular track I've chosen, because not only is it not as polished or as well mixed and produced, but it's a little bit noisier. It's a little bit more. It's a step or two away from ambient. There's a lot more rhythmic stuff in there. It's all instrumental, and it's all really, really lovely Chinese traditional music, kind of wrapped up with Western psychedelic tropes and electronica. So it's really nice, but it's not the same as this track. Anyway, it is, jams, and jams are great. I'm just throwing them out there.
Strawberry in
just throwing out there more opportunities for you to milk that one to the death. It's great. And
if there's a joke, I'm going to fucking milk it. That's how I roll. That is how I roll.
So again, because they've released so little, because they are Chinese, there's not a great deal I can tell you more about the band. There isn't very much likelihood, there's little indication of them releasing any further, but I do hope they put out something new soon. I don't even know if they remain an active group, to be honest. That last album was 2023, 3 years ago, and there's nothing happened since, so I don't know. The compilation series is, as I say, on WV Sourceful Records. There are a couple of those, so all of them are worth checking out, all very interesting. But that track, which sadly I did check is not on Spotify, it is on YouTube.
One of these days I will remember to put some more YouTube stuff up, because I always forget.
If you stick your headphones on and lay back and listen to this, you're in for a 10-minute treat. Genuinely fantastic.
Cool. So short one as well. Brilliant.
I tell you what, by the time it finishes, you'll be begging for more. You'll be putting it on again.
I'm sure. I don't doubt it. Excellent. Okay,
my fifth and final one then is from a punk band as well. One of the most vicious sounding punk bands. Proper hardcore punk. And
where are they from?
Canada.
Don't know. It's remember this. Are they later band?
Yeah.
Oh no, I probably don't know. I'm thinking of DOA and Subhumans and.
No, Fucked Up.
Oh, Fucked Up, yeah.
Fucked Up. Interesting band, Canadian hardcore, but with a heavy dose of prog sensibilities, because they craft records with really distinct concepts, from very long tracks. Punk was really associated with, like you were saying earlier, 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute tracks. And Fucked Up do quite a lot of 20-minute plus tracks. And they are proper punk tracks, but they are stories, and they have evolution in them, and they don't necessarily follow verse, chorus. The complexity of their music, despite its ferocity, is quite staggering, really. And for all of the chainsaw guitars and throbbing bass and pummeling drums, for all of that, which would sound fully visceral in itself, the really ferocious part is singer Damien Abraham, aka Pink Eyes, who is a raging full throat kind of monster. His tirades give the whole sound a nuclear blast. So it is really full on noisome punk music, but very, very intellectual noisome punk music, if you like. One of the things that they've also
which fits us perfectly, being intellectuals ourselves.
Complicated, not so much.
No. Basic but intellectual. Yeah. That's how I like to think of myself.
Yeah, something like that. Well, you think of yourself like that. I won't tell you what everybody else thinks.
I've got a pretty good idea. Don't worry. You see some of the fucking comments I get on Instagram.
No, God, social media, eh? So Fucked Up, they've done this long series since I think 2005, 2006, where they've released records that are animals in the Chinese New Year's kind of concept. So the first one was the Year of the Horse, and then they've done the Year of the Pig, the Year of the Dog, and they invariably have very, very long tracks on them, and they're very, very complicated. So it's very, very clever indeed. But this track, Ship of Fools, is from their 2011 album David Comes to Life, which again, proper punk rock style. There's 18 tracks, only a couple of them. I think 2 of them just about get through the 5-minute barrier. But it's much more conventional in kind of song structure in that way. However, it is a concept because it's a kind of punk rock opera. The whole album tells a story in the same way as Pink Floyd's The Wall or The Who's Tommy or something like that. It's a whole story told in different songs as it progresses. And it's really, really good. The story is about David, and it's a kind of traditional story. Boy meets girl, they fall in love, they build a bomb, the girl gets blown up, the boy realises that the narrator to the story has taken control, he ends up fighting with the story's narrator, Veronica's ghost returns, etc., etc.
Well, we've all been there. We've all been there.
Oh, it's been done so many times.
Fucking hell.
Pink Eyes screaming this story. And there, again, very little in the way of verse, choruses. He's just screaming through the story, song after song. It's like nothing you would have heard before, I don't think, if you listen to it. So brilliant musicians, complex structures, really good sound, really vicious, heavy sound. It's hard to imagine how you can get your head to be screaming with such anger a story like this rather than you're screaming against the government or you're screaming against war or nuclear weapons in the kind of more conventional kind of subject matter that punk has. But he does it. A few years ago, a friend of mine, well, a colleague of mine I used to work with, she was going to Glastonbury. I wasn't going to Glastonbury. She asked who she should go and see. And I said, you should go and see Fucked Up. Oh, okay, fine. She came back. She said, you bastard. She said, me and my mate, we put our little blanket down in front of the stage. We were fucking terrified. There was this great big guy on stage screaming at us. It was absolutely terrifying.
Oh, fucking hell.
Great band, really interesting band, doing something that I don't think anybody else has even thought of doing, let alone done. There have been some long songs. I mean, the Subhumans From the Cradle to the Grave, for example, the Damned's Curtain Call, some punk songs that are quite long, but nothing like this, nothing like they do so consistently and so well. Great band.
Oh yeah, I like Fucked Up. I can't remember if I've still. I had a pile of their CDs. Because I can't remember why. I think it was because their vinyl was a bit more difficult to come by at that time. So I did have a pile of CDs, but I'm fucked if I know whatever happened to them.
They are prolific,
to be honest.
They do churn some stuff
I had a load. I had some really good compilations of their singles. They also just split single with Hard Skin at some point as well, didn't they?
I don't know.
Yeah, they were good mates with. They were mates with Fat Bob.
Oh, okay.
From Hard Skin. Otherwise known as Sean Forbes, who is kind of big in the London punk scene, and puts on loads of gigs. Yeah, and they're quite good friends with him, I think. Okay. But yes, yeah, okay. Yeah. Do you often, just out of curiosity, get asked for recommendations, music recommendations, or?
Occasionally, I've been asked a few things. Yeah.
Yeah, just Lily actually asked me a few months ago. I was proper chuffed, because she's very good at finding music herself, but she just said, can you give me some albums? And I sent her a big list of links to streaming albums, which is really cool. Yeah. Okay. So my final one for tonight is a song by a band called Pitch Shifter.
Oh, right.
And it's called Gritter.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was quite.
Yes, that is quite at the edge of transport, I suppose. But yes, okay.
I just thought it was a funny one, but it is also a really good song. I mean, Pitch Shifter were an earache band from Nottingham.
Yeah, indeed.
Home also of Fudge Tunnel, or as we call them, the Mighty Fudge Tunnel.
As you call them.
Another earache band. Yeah. But Pitch Shifter kind of took their lead from Godflesh, more than anything, to the degree where their first couple of LPs, including Submit, which is where Gritter comes from, are almost carbon copies of the Godflesh sound. Really well done, but quite derivative. And Gritter is one of those songs where that you listen to it once and you never forget it, and you every now and again find yourself singing Gritter feels like this. You know, not that.
Is that when you see a glitter on the road?
But, sorry,
is that when you see a glitter that comes to mind?
It does, and that's what made me think of. That's what made me think of it. And every time you pass one, and that fucking all those stones hit your car, I'm like wanker Gritter. It feels like this. Yeah, great. I mean, it's your normal, industrial Godflesh type template. I mean, chugging guitars, occasionally venturing into the squealing, into the realms of squealing, thunderous drums, massive bass, obviously Gritter style vocals. Your lovely throaty growl. And I think I'm pretty sure that Submit was the first one first of their records I bought. They'd done one called Industrial previously, which I went and bought after that, which was okay. You could see a good band arriving, but not quite there. Gritter was them saying, "Yeah, we're here, we're really good," and then after that, they kind of found a bit of a niche. Desensitized, I think, was the next album, and that was really good. That was a kind of a real step forward, and they lost some of that Godfleshness. It was still very industrial, still very heavy, but they kind of starting to forge their own sound. And then they discovered drum and bass.
Okay.
And made some cracking stuff that was, I mean, it was like new metal of that time, but it was done properly. It was done with, it didn't sound shit, which most new metal did. I always thought there was a bit of, if you were going to do something like that, it needed some heft behind it. And a lot of those new metal bands didn't. But I think Pitch Shifter really did. They really took that whole drum and bass thing and really incorporated it really brilliantly into their, and didn't lose too much of their kind of industrial metal edge.
Right.
I think later on, the last few things they did, they went off the boil slightly, and it did kind of start to sound a bit derivative. But cracking live band as well.
Yeah.
Excellent live band. Yeah. I really enjoyed seeing them live. That was lovely and noisy, that was. But Gritter, I would encourage everyone next winter to, every time they see a Gritter, go, Gritter feels like this. And you'll feel so much better. You'll feel so much better.
There was talk of Gritters coming out last week
really?
because if the roads started to melt, they would need to put in.
Oh, fucking hell!
I know. I can remember melting in '76, and as a small child, kind of teasing with the tar and everything, but I don't think they did. Anyway, yes, but good. They were a good band. I mean, I went to see them, and I've got Industrial, but I didn't really follow their career because I guess it was unfortunate that it was so close to Godflesh, really. A bit like 1919 and Killing Joke. 1919 were a good band, but just a little bit too Killing Joke,
Yes, I remember 1919. Yeah. They were very enthralled to Killing Joke. I don't think they ever got over it. Whereas I think Pitch Shifter really did pick it up and ran with it, and they did get somewhere. I mean, after Desensitized is a cracking.
Yeah, I'll have to have a listen. What
and
year
then they
was
did.
that?
Desensitized was 93.
Okay.
And then the next one, Infotainment, that was 96. That came with, I think on the CD, I had after the CD had finished, there was a 5-minute gap, and then you could there were all the samples they used, and you could record them off of or you could pull them off of the CD somehow, and use it to make your own music. And then they did www.pitchshifter.com, which for 1998 was quite ahead of its time because they were embracing the internet. And they did embrace a lot of technology and internet technology then, even though it was kind of, it was very basic back then. And that was pretty good. And then Deviant, that was kind of, what you wanted to like it, but it was not quite as good. And then, to be honest, the last album, PS, I don't think I really ever listened to it. But they reform sporadically and do shows. I if they came around here, I'd probably go and see them. I don't think I'd go venture any further. But yeah, great fun, great good, really good band. And so there you go.
Cool. What have you been listening to this week then?
What have I been listening to this week? I'll tell you what I've been listening to this week. This week I've been listening to an album called Dystemia by Los Membrios, who are a shoegaze band from Peru, who their manager sent me a copy of their LP.
Oh, right.
In a package with more stamps than I've ever seen. Wow. On a parcel. And it's very good. I also listened to No Pocky for Kitty by Superchunk, along with lots of others, because I went to see them on Tuesday down in London at the ICA, my first ever visit to the ICA. And they were brilliant, as expected, because I fucking love Superchunk. I then been listening to Wagon Burner by Dead Pioneers, who are a punk band from, was it America or Canada? I'm not sure. My friend Richard recommended them to me, and they're very good. I've then last night found myself listening to an album called Pulse Wave by Tomasz Sienkiewicz, I think, from
Eastern Europe
somewhere. Yeah, I can't remember. Because I was reading this month's copy of The Wire, and I was reading an article about him. And I tried to find his latest album. I can't find it anywhere on the internet, so I listened to the old one, which was really good.
Okay.
Kind of very ambient-y pianos and just really good LP. And then I really enjoyed the new Moby album, which is called Future Quiet.
Okay. So you did go out and have a listen.
It's really good. Is that were you talking about it? Were you?
No, we talked about. Well, I mentioned Moby in a previous episode, and we both said we haven't really listened to him as much as we should.
This just came out last week. I think
I had missed that.
And I saw it pop up on I think it was on the Resident Records website. I was looking, and I thought, oh, that sounds interesting. It's very, very good. It's kind of him just playing piano with lots of guest vocalists.
No way.
Doing things. It's lovely. It's really, really lovely.
Okay. My listening this week, brand new album from Abul Mogad and Rafael Anton Irisari, Where Light Pauses in the Silence of Sun.
I saw that. Yeah, I knew I'd heard of him. I knew that was someone you'd spoken about before.
Yeah, but right back in episode 3, that was a year ago that I mentioned both of them.
Yeah,
it was one of the highlight releases of 2025, live at Le Guess Who. But the interesting thing with this album is it also features Martina Bertoni, who also mentioned in episode 3, electroacoustic works for Halderophone. So she had a great album in 2025, and she appears on this as well. So it's a great album. It's just what you'd expect. Superb, sublime, ambient stuff. Great. But industrial, grainy, noisy ambience. So that, and then the rest is kind of summary records. So I'll be listening to Amrita, All These and the Japanese Soup Warriors by Loop Guru. From 1995. Excellent Eastern-oriented world beat, which is fantastic. Bluebell Knoll by Cocteau Twins, one of their finest of many, many finest.
Sorry, it's just I just like to do Elizabeth Fraser impression.
Was it? Was that what it was? Yeah. I didn't know if it was the witch from Chortled and the Wheelies.
You fucking knew what that was. You knew. No, I could see you going. I could see you looking around and thinking, "Fuck me, is this Fraser in the room with me?"
No. Where? The witch from Chortled and the Wheelies. That was more like. Well, yes. Refried Ectoplasm Switched On Volume 2 by Stereolab is total summer music. So I've been listening to that, 1995. And Mirror Messenger by Major Stars. which is a 2007 United States psychedelic rock band music, which is very garagey and again very summery. I like it a lot.
Excellent. Well, it has been really fucking hot, so I suppose I couldn't bloody move. It's just, oh, fucking hell. Can't deal with it.
You've been working from home?
Yes, I had to go in the office once, the office was 29 degrees, and as it turned out, I didn't need to be there in the first, so I fucked off home at lunchtime because I'd had enough.
Oh, I would have thought your office was air conditioned. Is that not?
Oh, yeah, it is air conditioned, apparently, but the air conditioning is so shit, you don't really notice it. So, which is a bit of a pisser. So I just came back to sweat my tits off here. With the cat kind of keeps walking around and going, ugh, and just flopping on the floor wherever, just to find out.
Shave it. That'll keep it cool.
Fucking yeah, I don't think so. I don't think she'd go for that, to be honest. It's been horrendous.
I like it.
I can cope with this. I can cope with like 20s and me, and like early 30s, but you get above 35, we're just not fucking ready for it, are we?
Well, I enjoy it.
It's like, fuck that. Yeah, I can, like I say, I can deal with it to a certain degree, but after that, it can fuck off.
But you want to get used to it.
Yes.
That is the way that we're going.
Absolutely. So, just a quick hello to the greatest playlist ever, guys, over in that America.
Hello.
DJ Substance, Brooklyn Pete, Robin the Supergirl Wonder. They're still doing their stuff. All very good, well worth listening to. Obviously not as good as us, but I'm biased. But still very good. If we're Silent Alarm by Block Party, they're the next album that was probably 9.5 out of 10.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll give them that. Yes, but they're very funny as well, very good. So we haven't thought of next week's project yet. So we'll have a chat of that and think about what we want to do. I did think of a couple now. I've lost the fucking note that I wrote them on. So obviously my drugs haven't started working properly yet. So
songs that reference trousers.
There's well, that makes it something actually. The drugs don't work; they just make it worse. Yeah, see, excellent. Right, okay. Right. So we'll say goodbye, and we'll see you all
next time.
You wonderful listeners very soon.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Good night.